Welcome back to the Not Carrie Bradshaw YouTube channel. In this video, I'm recapping episode 6 of Real Housewives of Potomac. This was mess. Let's get right into it. The ladies are still on their little getaway to Williamsburg. I still think that this trip is cute. I'm loving the house. I want to get into some of the language that we are using to distinguish between the big house and the cottage. It's giving plantation hierarchy a bit. That language makes me uncomfortable. I also really don't like this thing on reality TV shows where there's a trip involved and there's this passive-aggressive way of letting a bitch know just how much you fool with her or don't fool with her, or it's like a way of letting people know where they stand with you if you're the host of the trip. I wish that it could be a little bit less of a thing. Can we pull straws? Can we do a little content? Do something. But it's just always such a thing, and it's exhausting, and it's hard for me to watch people be embarrassed. So to even watch Ascala, Wendy, Mia and Karen go to this lesser home, which I still think was nice. Is it as, with the amenities as the big house? No, but it's not like you're in an actual shack or slave quarters. But I still find that so annoying, and it's so cringe to watch someone have to be, I don't know, treated less than. It's very cringe for me. The ladies sit down to, I don't know if that was dinner or lunch, I can't remember, but I don't enjoy the other ladies trying to force Giselle and Karen back into a friendship. I have been in a space like this before where a friend and I fell out and people just wanted, particularly me, to get over it and to move on, and I felt like I was actually the offended party, so I don't think that I should have to do that just for your comfort. I understand that this is an awkward situation for everybody and they keep bickering and maybe they need to agree to disagree, but trying to force them to do that is dismissive of both of their feelings. They both feel wronged here, and Giselle is saying that she can move on and she's ready to move on. That's an overarching theme, though, in all reality TV shows. It's, can we just apologize and move forward? Can we just apologize and move forward? And the thing is, if you find yourself having to do that over and over again with a person, you and that person just don't mesh well. That needs to be okay. Like, can it be normal in this situation that these two women just don't fool with each other? And can that just be okay? Can we all move on from that? I'm exhausted with it, and I just find it dismissive and selfish, I think, for the other ladies to just try to force this so that they can feel comfortable. I get it, but I don't enjoy it. And I also want to say, I'm happy that people are, it's not just down to semantics. She quite literally, and far be it for me to defend Giselle, but I have to be, right is right, wrong is wrong. Giselle did not wish death on Karen's husband. That just didn't happen. You just don't like Giselle. That's okay. But he didn't wish death. She didn't wish death on him. That's not what happened. Also, can I just ask, am I a bum that I am okay carrying my own bags? This is just me adjusting to, have I just over adjusted to being just like a regular person who's not wealthy? I don't need like a bellhop or a valet to grab my bags every time I go somewhere. Maybe am I uncultured? Let me know. I mean, obviously if you go to a hotel, and I guess if you have a lot of stuff, it makes sense to get a bellhop, but I'm just like, can you really not carry your own bags? Every time especially on Housewives of Beverly Hills, do we not have someone here to help us? We have to carry our own bags? That is so annoying. Like, girl, bye. This conversation that Giselle and Robin are having about Wendy, benefit of the doubt, this is actually coming from a place of concern, of genuine concern. We want to make sure our girl is okay. this is almost like a completely different person from the person who we met last year. And with the body work and with, the change in the wardrobe, Robin is like, I just want to know if she's okay. I want to believe that that is the genuine desire there, but I cannot help but feel that Wendy is actually being slut shamed or body shamed here. And to center it around a man, to say that, oh, does this have anything to do with the rumors about Eddie cheating? Do you think that maybe she's doing this to like keep her man? Everyone doesn't center men in that way. And even if that's her husband, and if this is something that she personally wanted to do for herself and her husband benefits from that in some way, then okay. But this is just like when I cut my hair. Several people were like, oh, did you just go through a breakup? Did you do this because like a man broke your heart? I would not alter my body in response to a man. And I found that so insulting. I just always wanted short hair. I grew up in the 90s. I saw, the short hair icons, Nia Long, Jada Pinkett, Halle Berry, and I just always thought that Toni Braxton, I always thought the short hair was super cool. So once I had the money to afford to keep it up, I cut my hair. It had nothing to do with a man. So I'm really frustrated at the notion that she would be doing this in response to her husband. There was a lot of centering men and behavior centering men in this episode that made me uncomfortable. So we'll get there a little bit more. But I also found it interesting that no one on this cast is a fashion girl. None of these girls are known for style, okay? And that's okay. Everybody isn't going to be that person. I found it fascinating that Giselle, of all people, and also Robin, had comments about Wendy's style choices. Now, have they gotten a bit more, I'll say, youthful? Absolutely. I will give you that. Is there a very palpable change in the way Wendy presents? Absolutely. I said this in my last video recap. I think that Wendy is creating a storyline here and it doesn't fully feel authentic. I will give you that. But I know y'all don't think y'all qualified to talk about nobody's style. Okay, girl. That's cute. That's cute that you think you can do that. I also want to say Wendy's been very snappy this season. Her attitude has been quite snappy. I don't remember seeing her be this, assertive last season. I will give you that. There is a change here, but I'm having a hard time believing that you're asking these questions out of concern and not out of judgment, which fast forwards us to the next dinner scene. Everyone is, sitting around and talking. Robin brings up to the ladies how she's been struggling to get out of bed. And the level of judgment that Giselle had for Robin made me so deeply uncomfortable. And I was sitting there just waiting for anyone to say, it sounds like you might be depressed. And thank God for Ascala for stating the obvious, because yeah, that sounds like depression. And for Giselle to say, don't a man want to marry somebody they think is unattractive? I find it so fascinating that the women who are constantly centering men don't seem to have healthy relationships with them. You are so concerned about Candace's relationship with her husband. You're so concerned about, if he's riding her coattails, and you're comfortable having that conversation with Candace about her marriage. And I applaud Candace for saying, I understand where you're coming from, but I know my marriage. Kudos to you, Candace. Credit where credit is due. If this is something that you're trying out for your marriage, go for it. Have we historically seen that work out well for people? No. But if you feel like this is a dynamic that you want to work around or that you want to manage, and you feel like Chris pushes you harder than anyone else does, and you feel like it's working, awesome for you. And kudos for standing up for your marriage. Everyone has to find what works for them. And I think a lot of us run into issues and unhappiness in all kinds of situations when we should ourselves to death. Well, this is how it should be, and this is how we were raised to believe that things should be, as opposed to being a little bit more flexible and seeing, you know what, I am my own person and my partner is their own person. Let's see what works for us. Again, kudos to Candace for standing up, but Giselle had so much to say about completely, again, overlooking that something could quite possibly be wrong with Robin here. And you ain't made no changes. Well, don't no man want to marry unattractive. Oh my God. There's so much more to be concerned about. I was relieved when she said, well, are you neglecting your kids? That's a bigger issue. But to even, not even say, I want you to be okay. You have all this concern for Wendy. Is Wendy okay? Because Wendy got a boob job and started wearing less and going out more. You have all this concern for Wendy's emotional state, but no concern for Robin's when she's not getting out of bed and admits that she's not taking care of her kids in the way that she would like to. That is baffling to me. And you brought it down to not you need to show up for yourself, not I want to see you do well, not how do you feel. It was, don't a man want to marry nobody like that? So far away from the bigger picture of what your concern should be for a friend. Giselle, please. Where's your compassion? When a person is coming to you, a friend is coming to you and saying what they're going through, you lead with compassion, you lead with curiosity. You don't berate them when they're already not feeling great. I hated that. I think I was quite triggered by that. I hated that scene. And again, I'm happy that Ascala pointed out, oh, when I was depressed, that's what I experienced. These sound like symptoms of depression. So are you okay? Shouts out to Ascala for being an adult and a legit friend. Like that, those are the proper questions that you ask. And I was also really confused that like Robin seems to be in denial about her depression and says that she wants to see a life coach as opposed to a therapist. Huh. Why? Why? Is a life coach going to, I don't even know how that works. Therapy first. So let's get into this conversation about Wendy and her appearance. So at this point, Giselle has gone down the table and had life advice for everyone. Life advice. So you have come at Candace about her relationship with Chris being her manager. You have dismissed Robin's obvious depression out of fear that she will not marry this fine man. Hold on to this man at all costs. Screw your mental health, honey. Hold on to your man. And now we're at Wendy. I think Robin was trying so hard to clean this up by saying, Wendy, you were beautiful before you did this, and I just want you to know that's still shaming. You are still judging her for having altered her body in a way that made her feel good. My stance on body alterations, body work, you the only person that gotta walk around in your body. I can't tell you, or I can't do that walk for you. I can't make you feel comfortable walking in your body. It's like people say, what I eat won't make you shit, right? As long as you're not hurting yourself, as long as these are choices that you are genuinely making for yourself and not for the validation of other people, go for it. They seem to have such a problem with her having altered her body more so than it's not reading through to me that you're concerned about her emotional wellness. And I felt for Wendy when Giselle said that Wendy from last year seemed to have more substance. And to make a connectivity, to make a connection between her being a person of substance and her altering her body. And so now, because, you know, again, she's, you know, wearing less and going out more, you know, she's showing off, you know, what she paid for and, you know, whatever. Now she's suddenly not a person of substance. I was really disappointed too for Mia to chime in and to say, well, as a professor, you do have to, you know, present a certain kind of way. No, you don't. And when we buy into these expectations of how people have to perform in order to be taken seriously, or how people have to present in order to be taken seriously, you're getting into some real rough territory there. It's a real slippery slope. Mia, are you comfortable with people thinking that you lack substance because of the number of procedures that you've had done? That's not fair. Why is it okay for you to be taken seriously as a businesswoman, as an entrepreneur, you know, as a boss, whatever, when you've had all kinds of body work done, that, you know, you have no shame in? Would it be okay for people to not take you seriously as a businesswoman given how you present? Everyone has to be okay with people containing multitudes. Just because you're a librarian doesn't mean that you have to actually look the part in the traditional way. Now, again, I don't know what exactly, how exactly people think that professors are supposed to present, and I'm not really seeing anything in Wendy's behavior that makes her less academic. I don't see that, but I was happy that Wendy stood up for herself and said that I still have my 4 degrees, which we've been tired of hearing her say that, but in this case it was necessary. She does still have her degrees. She does still have her, you know, role as a commentator. And whether this storyline is sincere or not, it does speak to a larger issue. We do tend to want to box people in with certain dress codes and what denotes professionalism and what denotes intellect and all these different kinds of things. You have to allow multiple things to be true at the same time. I love to shake my ass all the time. It doesn't make me an idiot. No, this just wasn't okay. And this again speaks to small-mindedness. And it was body shaming. I think that they slut shamed Wendy. She, you know, you can see she started to cover up. During the pandemic, we couldn't go anywhere. We couldn't do anything. You can see on all of the shows, when the ladies had an opportunity to dress up, they are dressing up. So let her celebrate her new look. Let her celebrate her new body. Let her explore this part of being. You know, even when she spoke about like postpartum, I have several friends who had their first kid during quarantine, and the conversations that I've had with some of those friends about them not feeling like themselves in their own bodies. If that's what she needed to do after having a third baby to get back to feeling like herself, or to get to a place of evolution where she feels more like who she wants to be, let her have that journey. I felt so bad for her, seeing her like cover up or whatever after, you know, them calling her out like that. What also frustrated me, and kudos to a scholar for jumping in and, you know, having questions for Giselle about her relationship, because she has been quite ambivalent about it, and then she didn't want to speak on it. So it was okay for you to call everybody else out about their individual relationships in front of their ops, because Wendy and Mia are not friends. Robin isn't super cool, super close with everybody at this table. Why was it okay for you to call them out in front of their ops, but you don't want to spill the tea on yourself? This is where Giselle loses me. If you're going to be this kind of person, lean into it and be that person across the board and be able to take what you dish out. Why is it okay for you to question people, berate people, make people feel like their choices aren't good, but no one can ask you about yours? Oh, I'm not about to have that conversation in front of trolls. But it was okay for you. Why are you so different? Questions that need answers. I was really happy to see towards the end of the episode, Karen really give Wendy that big sister, auntie kind of energy to say, you know, you don't have to cover up to make anybody else comfortable. Don't do this for them. I actually have that same outfit that Wendy was wearing, and I love it, the all white. situation before they went to water aerobics, which, girl, how'd you come up with that? But anyway, I was happy to see Karen give Wendy that support and that affirmation. You could tell that Wendy was really hurt by that. And again, I do think that Wendy's storyline this season is a bit forced. I can see a distinct difference in how she, you know, performed this year versus last year. She looks like she's just trying to find another level of existence. She's just trying something out, and I'm really uncomfortable with the way that Robin and Giselle, it made me feel like if the white people at your office want to have a conversation with you about you wearing your natural hair, what exactly, I guess what I would like for Wendy to have done was, when people ask you these kinds of problematic questions, dig a little deeper and respond with, well, what do you mean by that? What exactly about me having bigger boobs makes me seem not qualified? What about me twerking on a party bus with my friends where I've been drinking makes me seem less intelligent? What do you mean by that? When you ask people what they mean by those things, they hopefully, if they're aware enough, they can get to a place where they're seeing that they're actually upholding unhealthy ideals of who's allowed to be what. As Black people, we have to be more cognizant of the way we play into respectability politics, because that has been used to keep us out of so many things for so long. So to see Black women do this to other Black women, I don't enjoy it. This is kind of the same thing of, you know, the conversation with the Candace and Monique fight last year of, you know, having to perform in these certain kinds of ways. For whom? For whom? So those are my thoughts on this episode. I'm excited to see what happens next week when Ashley comes to visit. Oh, also, the photos of Ashley and her family actually came out really cute. I wonder though if Ashley and Michael don't want to actually move into like a traditional home. It seems to work for them. No tea, no shade. I'm just curious. So thank you guys for tuning in. Be sure to like, comment, share, subscribe, send me money, and I'll see y'all soon. Bye.